Oh, they don't fucking like it up, do they? Welcome to ABW Live. How the devil are we all? Marco Bricks UK was first in the box, and he says, sorry to swear, but fucking yay. Daz316, Grant Wilborn, J Rob, K-Man 1867, Ann235100, Daryl Kane, Ronry, Alonso, Spencer, Stephen Edwards, Thomas from Norway. Hello, J Rob. How are we all? Yes, those dirty monk bastards. Goodbye. Take care. 2-0, huh? 2-0. God, they must be crap if we kept a clean sheet against them. What can you say? Welcome to ABW Live, guys. It is the United game. And here we are. Tonight, guys, I have with me, well, some have called him a prince amongst men, but I tend to think of him as a god. It's Aussie Dom. Say hello, Dom.
Hello, Dom. You know that I was thinking to myself after that match finished, Jace, I was like, you know what? I'm not sure that can get much better. And then they crossed to the studio and I saw Ryan Giggs complaining about the penalty call. So it did actually just get better. It was quite humorous.
To be fair, okay, when you got Ryan Giggs moaning about it, when you got Solskjaer moaning about it, and he was a massive diving twat, okay, in his playing days, real scumbag, okay? You know, it's just happy days. It's just happy days. You good, mate?
Yeah. Been quite busy, but the sun's out at the moment over here, which is quite unusual for this time of year. So a little bit of extra spring in the step today.
Look at you. Also with us, it's my brother from another mother. I'm not going to say too much about this man. He needs no introduction. It's John Welsh. Say hello, John.
Hello, John. How are we doing, Joe?
Good? To be fair, mate, I'm not really sure what's happening. You know, we'll talk about it during the show now, but I'm a bit perplexed. It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. I'm not one of those who can easily hide. I'm not going to carry on with that. I'm not. Right, let's get into it. I'm going to start with you, John. Lineups. I was moaning before the game, 3 at the back. And you've got Rambo and Ozil in the team. Wowzers.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to see Lacazette, Aubameyang, Ozil and Ramsey all start together. I think that's only happened once this season, previous to this game. I could be wrong. I'm sure the chat box will correct me. 3 at the back, I wasn't particularly pleased with, but I kind of got it. United have basically, under Solskjaer, played 2 up front near enough the whole way through. We didn't have Torreira because of his suspension. From the subs and everything else as well, I think it was clear that he wasn't going to bring on Guendouzi at any point today. So I think it was just more, give a little bit more security to the defence and try and protect Leno a bit more because they're going to have 2 up and exploit the pacing wide areas that we've got. It was exciting. It's attacking, despite the fact it's 3 at the back. It wasn't Ozil out wide either. He was like, Ozil, you get to play number 10, have a free role, go and do your stuff, show us what you can do. We're going to back you in a big game, which he hasn't done. And the strikers actually playing up front together. So, yeah, like I was there wasn't anyone else he could pick, to be honest. The only surprise for me was that Iwobi didn't start. Because I think I said midweek after the Renga, I thought he'd probably be a shoo-in to start this game. But brilliant. I think Emery got it spot on.
He did. It was lovely to see. Talking of being spot on, Michael Hahnemann's just piled in with a £5 donation, and he says, Tottenham Hotspur, we're coming for you. And oh yeah, Jesse Lingard, I think we just knocked your dance studio down, you little bitch, Lingard. Well done, Michael Hahnemann. You're the man. Thank you ever so much, mate. You do it every time, and we really do appreciate it. You're an absolute star, fella. Dom, wow, this game, we started well, didn't we? You know, we were at it from the off.
Yeah, and I think if you look at the games that both teams were coming off of, you probably wouldn't have expected that. You know, United had such a great win midweek versus our performance midweek, so it would have been sort of, pretty kind of suspect that it would have been the other way around. You know, like I thought that we would have probably been on the back foot early with United coming off the back of such a good win. So it was nice to see that it was actually the roles reversed, because how many times have we seen us come out slowly in games? So always a pleasant surprise, and it always kind of makes you wonder why we don't do that more often.
Yeah, very frustrating, isn't it? It really is frustrating. Dom, I'm going to stick with you on this. You know, first 5 minutes, Kolasinac puts a beautiful ball across the face of the goal, and Lacazette just doesn't get there. You know, you just think it's a nailed-on goal. It's all he's going to do is get his foot up. You know, what were your thoughts at that point?
Well, Kolasinac was causing them all sorts of problems out that left-hand side with some of the overlapping runs, and I think he's been used a lot for our attacks without going centrally through the midfield. But it was nice to have both options with Ozil there as well. But it's just every time you play a team like United, you know, you kind of expect you're going to have some periods where you do create some good chances, and that you know, you might be on top for periods of the game. But you do also know that regardless of them being a bunch of make bastards, you know that they're a decent team. You know they're going to have opportunities. And every time you see a little sneaky one like that doesn't get finished, it does just make you kind of drop your head that little bit, because you know, it's just always in the back of your mind that against a team like that, you have to put those little sneaky chances away.
Yeah. Josh Robinson's just put down on Twitter, should we play United more? That's cheered me right up.
Good.
That has cheered me right up. John, you know, we have early chances, as we've already spoken about. You get Lacazette heading wide from a corner. Aubameyang gets caught by Smalling on the break, you know, where he really shouldn't have got caught by him. Then you get him shooting wide. And then all of a sudden, you've got United counter on us. And they have the biggest nailed-on chance you've ever seen in your life, and Lukaku hits the bar. Good pressure from Monreal, thankfully. But our defending, it wasn't good, was it? You know, we should have been 1-0 down at this point.
Yeah, to be fair, that was the kind of weird thing about the game, that if you look back through the chances United had, you would have thought in the form that they're in and the way they're playing, and just like everything's kind of fallen for them in the past, I don't know, 10 weeks, really. That one of those would have gone in, especially that one. I know Lukaku gets some stick, especially from Chris. But yeah, I thought that was a nailed-on goal. Decent pressure from Monreal, because there's not a lot he can do. But it's a great ball in from, is it Luke Shaw, I think, for that one. And yeah, I don't know how he managed to put it up that high. Thankfully for us, you know, he hits the crossbar. At that point, I thought, you know, because up until then, I was like, wow, this is easy. We're absolutely dominating United. They couldn't string a pass together. They couldn't get out. Every time they tried to pass, they'd lose it, or it was misplaced, and we'd win it back quickly. So it was a bit of a, you know, wake-up moment again for us.
Yeah, absolutely. We got 2 donations. Yvonne Okofo, has anyone told Emery that you are not supposed to play Ozil, Ramble, and Laka and Alba in the same team? Yvonne, I think we've all been wondering the same thing all season, to be honest with you. You know, it's been crazy. But Yvonne, as usual, thank you ever so much. You're an absolute rock star, and we think the world of you. Thank you, Yvonne. And then Marcus Hodges piles in with another $5. Everybody's chucking $5 or £5 in. What the hell's going on? On top of it all, we ended those fucks unbeaten run. This win is so good, it must be high in calories. Thank you, Marcus. Marcus and Yvonne, you know, you guys support us all the time. Thank you ever so much. It's absolutely fantastic. We really do appreciate it. But Dom, after that, the Lukaku sort of miss, we get... I'm still laughing at this. What the fuck was the guy doing? The Xhaka goal. You know, it comes to Xhaka. There's no pressure on him whatsoever. You know, we've dominated their midfield up to this point, but there was no effort from Pogba or Fred or anybody to get at Xhaka. And you know, the guy has just totally misjudged this one. But Xhaka lets rip it. It's not even a great shot, in my opinion. But bang, goal.
I watched it go in. I thought it was a deflection. I thought that was the only explanation of what I just saw. And then when I saw it back and I just saw what happened, I mean, I don't want to give De Gea any excuses because fuck him. But I think he hit it a lot harder than De Gea expected. And I think it did take a little bit of a deviation, sort of curved or swerved or did something late. But he just completely shat the bed on that, didn't he? Like that's something that you don't expect from him. He took a big move to his left, like a big exaggerated move to his left, and then just stood there as he watched it go past him. It was really bizarre from someone that is, let's be honest, one of the best in the world.
It's bizarre because, you looked at it, he'd gone the wrong way. And I'm not being, because they were talking in commentary, there must have been a load of curl on the ball. But, John, there really wasn't that much, was there? There was a decent amount of curl. It was hardly Roberto Carlos against
I think
France.
we need to get the tracker on it. You know how they draw a line? Like you can sort of watch a line. But I think if we get a replay or something like that, and I'm sure someone will do it, I think there might be a bit more than you think. What do you think, John?
They showed... I can't remember who it is who does the coverage, but it's the one Lee Dixon's on the US coverage. And they showed it from. They showed, I like Gary Neville, but I just can't stand the other people on Sky. And Dixon's normally very balanced about Arsenal. To be fair, he's more critical than anyone else. But they showed it from De Gea's view and a few different angles. And just as he first hits it, it does look like De Gea is going the correct direction for the ball, but then it just changes, and he's put all his weight onto his would be his left foot. And I think the moment he sees it change direction, you can see he doesn't even go for it at all. He just knows it's gone. He's not getting there. So every time you see it in slow-mo and stuff, it looks like it's going slower than it actually is. When you see it in full time, it's a lot quicker. So look, credit for Xhaka for taking taking on the shot, because I think there's a few of our players who are sometimes a bit guilty of just trying to pass it on and give it to someone else. And let them take the opportunity, but just open up for him. And it's the old cliche, isn't it? What is it? If you don't buy a raffle ticket, you don't win the prize. So, good on him.
Absolutely. We've just had a donation from Dean Robinson, 1983, and Dean has been the most generous guy in the world. Fair play to him. He's thrown us £10, and he said, "At a tenner on 2-0 by mistake. Was meant to put it on 2-1, so sharing the spoils and well played Southampton." Dean,
I wonder what the odds of that is, tipping us to keep a clean sheet. That in itself must have paid huge.
That's got to be 100 to 1, isn't it? It's got to be.
We've only done it 5 times, haven't we?
4, I think, isn't it? I'm not sure. But it's. I've seen a lot of goals going outside this season. A lot of goals. Dean, thank you ever so much, mate. You're an absolute rock star. But I've got to be honest. I think he's just made the wrong decision. I thought it was, poor from De Gea, because I don't think there was that much swerve in the shot. They showed the angle from De Gea's view, and he's just made the wrong decision, in my opinion.
He took a big move to his left. Like it was almost like he thought it was going to curl, so he moved even further. That's what it looked like. And this all happens, obviously, in the blink of an eye, But
that's the thing. When you've got all your weight on one foot, it's so hard to then switch and change direction again. And also, this is obviously Josh's favourite goalkeeper in De Gea, who is not allowed to use his hands and can only save the ball with his feet. So his feet are in totally the wrong position. He's not like he's going to jump out and use his hands, because that's just, he gets confused with that.
It was absolutely bizarre, wasn't it? Danny, can you get a tweet out, please, pal, on Twitter, because this new mic, the new mics, by the way, that Danny's given us, myself and John, are fantastic. But my God, if you breathe too heavily, it picks it up. It's absolutely phenomenal. These mics are brilliant. Danny's going to do a video on them. They're well worth a purchase if you're podcasting or anything. They're fantastic. But Dan, if you can get a tweet out, I'd really appreciate it, mate. Thank you. Then we get a Lacazette shot blocked. We've got all the pressure at this point, John. We're on top of them. Xhaka and Rambo are absolutely dominating the United midfield, and you see a great counter from us with Ramsey shooting over. But we've got at this point we're having an armchair ride, aren't we?
Yeah, it was. I was surprised how comfortable it was, because obviously you see the United lineup and you think, okay, well, Matic, Pogba, and Fred are going to be a 3 in the middle. I thought Matic would be the deepest, but him and Fred kind of actually played level together. And it was. I mean, Xhaka and Ramsey were brilliant today. I thought Xhaka in particular was actually superb. Some of the challenges he made were great. But Ozil, being given that freedom, disrupted their midfield so much that no one could pick him up. And the gaps and the space he was finding was causing so many issues, because if they did go with him, then it gave room for Ramsey, for Xhaka, gave them time on the ball to pick out Kolasinac, who in particular on the left-hand side was really, really good. Gave a bit more freedom to Aubameyang or Lacazette. And if they left Ozil alone, well, then you know that if he gets the ball, he's going to be able to turn, look up and find a pass and find someone in space. And I was surprised that they didn't adjust their midfield in any way and try and put someone on Ozil at any point in the game. In particular, in the first half, he quietened down a little bit in the second, but he was finding so many gaps in their midfield and in and around their defence that it just made Xhaka and Ramsey's job even easier.
Jace, can I just get your confirmation on something? Did we just hear John Welsh praising Ozil? Is that what happened just now?
You did. I've got to be honest, but come back.
I might have to rewind this just to make sure, because I don't actually believe what I just heard.
There's about 300 people in the chat box right now. Chat box.
Right.
That's like the first time you've ever heard that. Ever.
I think that's it. I think we just got to end the show.
Yeah, stuff this. Let's just go. We're done. I'm done. We're beating United 2-0, and he's praised Ozil, and because I got to be honest with you, I thought our front three were very wasteful today. I thought their movement was good, but I don't think they turned good chances into really good scoring opportunities. So, but we'll come back to that. Dom, I want you to sit down now after John praising Mesut Ozil.
I'm going to need a minute.
Glass of water, mate. Get a glass of water. Let's all just reassess our lives for a second. He's on mute there because he's not happy whatsoever. Rashford shoots well wide. Pogba has a long-range shot straight to Leno. They were using that wind at times. Then you saw after that point where we really dominated it, you saw Solskjaer make changes, and all of a sudden United came back into the game, and they had a few opportunities, didn't they? They really, really did, put some pressure on us.
Yeah, and that's what I was sort of mentioning earlier. When you do have a dominant period of a game against a team like that, you know that they're going to come back into it at some point. They are a decent side. They have been playing well recently, and they're good enough to create some opportunities, especially against the way that we defend sometimes. So, sometimes the best form of defense is a good offense. And I think that's almost what we sort of saw today, isn't it? Is that we kind of conceded that, hey, look, they're going to get some chances off. Why not put all the attacking options out there and give them something else to think about if they do turn the ball over, versus trying to go ultra defensive and kind of really careful. Then it's not as much of a threat the other way. It makes it a lot easier for the opposition. So I thought it was a gutsy call to put the team out that we did, but in the end, it was the right one. But United definitely are probably, what do you think, maybe halfway through the first half, they really started to,
I think it's about after half
create a little bit more, and there's a little bit more sort of free-flowing opportunities. And yeah, I mean, I think we readjusted to that well after the second half as well. I think it was, it was an interesting game if you're a neutral to kind of watch the back and forth, and one team sort of on top and dominant. And big shout out to Leno. I know that we'll get onto him later, but I think chances created and shots on target and things were quite even for the whole game. And I think that the difference was the fact that we saw De Gea have an absolute, he went full Neuer, versus Leno went peak Neuer. And that seemed to be the difference almost.
It was strange to watch. I've got to be honest with you. I mean, I looked at us, and from the armchair ride we were having, I know they'd had that great chance for Lukaku, but when you looked at sort of shots on target, they had more shots on target than us, and we'd actually dominated the game. So it was really, really strange at times to watch this game. I wasn't quite sure how to sort of look at it, how to sort of sum it all up at the time. John, you see Kolasinac put another fabulous ball across the face of the goal. Unfortunately, Aubameyang, instead of going towards goal, he cuts inside. So I'm not sure if he's trying to fake or whatever. But again, another really golden opportunity wasted. what did you kind of think of this? Because I was really beginning to get frustrated, you know?
Yeah, it was annoying because it's like you said, we were 1-0 up. We had loads of the ball, but United still created a really good chance and was slowly starting to come back into it. But the amount of times Kolasinac got space on the left-hand side and put in a great either first-time ball or nice little 1-2, or Ozil found him with an overlapping run. And he was putting absolutely just horrible passes for a defender to deal with in at the near post. I think Smalling one time let one run across. I think it might have been this one actually, where he just let it run across him. He knows if he touches it, it's probably going to be an own goal. And either Aubameyang or Lacazette, neither of them were really on it today. They both had really weird games. I actually thought like Aubameyang's running in behind was really good, and he gave a lot running down the channels. I thought Lacazette's link-up play was really good, as it always is, and and he offered himself a lot and battled for the ball and chased down. But in terms of their finishing for both of them, or being in the right place to get on the end of something, it wasn't quite there today. In the end, it didn't matter. We still got the result, so it's all fine. But it's from if I was a neutral watching this, I would have been like, wow, that game was amazing. But I'm slightly confused how Man United didn't score a goal. So yeah, it's a weird one to take.
Yeah, it is a strange one. We saw Dalot, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, I do apologise, shoot over from a short free kick into the wall. Then you get Lacazette shooting wide after some really nice interplay with Aubameyang, and I thought that kind of summed them up all game. But then you get the Leno save from Lukaku, fantastic save, and Lukaku puts it across the goal, and nobody can get to it. Dom, at this point, you're just wondering, where the hell is this game going to go?
Yeah, I think, like you said, that both teams were almost in the final third. I think that was the big difference today. And like I said, with Leno was just an extra on another level, I guess, which really did help. Like that was kind of the difference maker, where some of the defenders may have made a mistake positionally or just gotten outplayed, or just good play from United. But luckily, we had a goalkeeper today that was definitely on one, which was great. But it could have easily been, that's the thing, if at half-time it was 2-2 or 3-3 or 3-0 or something, like any of those scorelines probably wouldn't really be that hard to believe, because both teams were getting there or thereabouts and just not quite the last piece of the puzzle, like you're saying with Aubameyang and Lacazette. On another day, maybe a pass or a touch gets a little bit, like the Lacazette block shot where he took it onto his left. Can't remember the defender that got back, but they made a really good block in the end. But just little things like that, it was just here or there, just the smallest of fine margins. And, you go into the half 1-0 up, you're going to take that after that.
Yeah, no, it was a really bizarre first half. I was looking at it, we get Socrates get a yellow card for a foul on Pogba. John, then you get the Smalling challenge on Kolasinac in the box where he's all over him. How the hell is that not a yellow? I got to be honest with you. I found that really strange. But you get this brilliant break from United, a really, really smart counter. And Xhaka, well, what a challenge in the box. And I was surprised with Xhaka, because I thought him and Rambod, they dominated that midfield. But I thought Ramsey was doing all the work. And when you got Xhaka on the ball, he was phenomenal. I thought he was brilliant with his distribution. But that challenge from Xhaka in the box it was magic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And it's like Dom already said, the difference today in the two teams was, we got a little bit of luck maybe with the Xhaka shot, but I thought our defending was on point from our midfield and our defence itself. And United's finishing either wasn't quite there, or Leno was stood up to it, because everything in their approach play was fantastic. And the same with us as well. Our approach play was really, really good until either the final ball or the final bit of movement from a striker or a midfielder running in. So it just shows that, we always say it's fine margins and stuff in games. I think most Man United fans will come away from this game and we've got one in the chat box, by the way, as well, actually. He's been very nice chatting away with people. They'll probably come away from this game and feel like, oh, on another day, maybe we could have got a draw or something else out of this, because they had enough chances. But just everyone did their job really, really well today. Everyone was really disciplined. You had Maitland-Niles playing up against, at times you had Rashford running at him. You had Pogba down that side as well. We had Luke Shaw, who I think has been in really good form since he's come back in for United. That's not his position. He did really well. Socrates, Koscielny, Monreal, I thought they were all great. Kolasinac the other side as well. We know how good he was going, forwards, but I thought defensively as well was really good. And Xhaka screened them brilliantly today. And I mean, it's tough to try and pull out a man of the match, but I do think you'd probably end up going with Leno because
we're getting ahead of ourselves now. Bear with me a second. This is the first half. Okay, we'll talk about the end of it. Okay. I think you're bang on your comment about Mancunian Red MUFC. He's having a good chat with everybody in there. So let's all be kind. If somebody starts acting like a dick, jump on them. But he's having a chat with you, so let's enjoy his company. But I thought that the challenge from Xhaka in the box, that was a clutch challenge, and he pulled it off. And there was no nonsense from him. He ended that attack, and he saved us and the equaliser there, which is all credit to him. And that was kind of the end of the first half, guys. I really enjoyed the first half. I just didn't understand how we were 1-0 up. I did not understand how we hadn't conceded. Did you guys feel the same way? Start with you, Dom, and then on to
John.
No,
like I said, you could have thrown multiple scorelines at me and said, it was 2-0 to Arsenal, or it was 2-2, or it was 1-1, or it was 2-1 to United, and I don't think I would have been that shocked at any of those. Like I said, there was just these little moments in that first half that, for one reason or another, didn't seem to go either team's way, other than De Gea making a big mistake there and Xhaka getting off that shot. But other than that, I don't know what you guys felt about the refereeing in that first half, but I'm not normally one to kind of point that stuff out. But I felt like there were so many of these 50-50 calls, like with Ozil's offsides and things like that really didn't go our way, and that didn't help. And maybe if a couple of those were called correctly, because he was onside, then...
honestly, I thought the touch judge was at fault there, not the referee. Yeah. I actually thought John Moss refereed the first half very well. I thought the touch judge, the linesman, the linos, got, I think it was 2 or 3 offsides wrong.
Yeah. And had they been given correctly, because, I don't think they were even 50-50 at that stage. I think they were pretty well onside. I know John's usually on the referee side, but I'll be interested to see what he thinks. But that could have been a big difference maker too, because if you've got Ozil kind of getting ahead like that, and in some of the areas that he was getting and the balls that he was getting onto, that could have been a big difference maker there as well. So that certainly didn't help our cause.
John?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much echo what Dom said, and I thought that were it not for a few really good last-minute challenges, a good save from Leno, and thankfully Lukaku not finding the back of the net, it probably would have gone in, 1-1 or 2-2, something like that, because we had a few more chances to score as well that we didn't take. But yeah, first 30 minutes, we basically completely controlled them. But I think they came there clearly with the intention to play like they did last time of, just hit us on the break and exploit the spaces we leave in behind, because that's what they tried to do. And the few times they did get forwards, that it worked really well. The referee and the linesman, I'd be honest, I thought they were bad for both teams. I thought there were some weird decisions throughout the game, and I kind of get fed up with talking about referees every week because we seem like we were always doing it. But some of the decisions, not just in today's game, but over the whole weekend in the Premier League and even in the Championship as well, there's been some really, really odd calls.
It's been strange, isn't it? Danny, if you can get another tweet out, mate, I'd really appreciate that.
Jace, before you go on your rant, as it's the half-time section, I've got a quick announcement to do.
Go
on. Right. So, chat box and anyone who's not watching live, remember ages ago we said we were going to do this thing about competition and give a shirt away and everything. We're actually doing it today. We're actually going to announce the winners today. Danny has done the draw and everything, and he sent me all the info. So at the end of the radio show, we're going to announce the winners for the shirt, the signed book, Danny's socks if they really want them. And we've got a few other bits as well to give away. And a new little preview podcast as well to announce that I will do at the end. So some new stuff.
Yeah, Danny and Shreds did a preview podcast of this game. Only were 10, 15 minutes long. It was absolutely fantastic. I watched it on. I thought the boys were brilliant. So that was magic. But Mr. Bob Lex, you are correct. Right, people. Hello. How are we? Mancunian Red MUFC. This is for you as well. There are 320 of you watching right now. And I've only got 115 likes. 115 on a normal day, I think, yeah. Do you know what? I'm happy with that. That's quite good. That's some, that's quite nice. I mean, fair play to you. 115 likes. That's really good of you. But it's not a normal day, is it? We got Brad Fieldhouse, new account. He's a Man United fan. He's in the box as well. Okay, we've got a lot of people in this box right now. 320 of you. And it's going up. It's 123. It's 123. Do you think 123 is really good enough? Do you? Do you really think it's good enough? Because I don't. I just don't think it's good enough. Dom, it's stupid o'clock in the morning in Canada. He gets up for this. Yes, he does. He gets up. He gives you his content. As Monkey Magics just says, don't be an embarrassment to your parents. Start tapping that like button. Tappy. Let's get going, okay? Don't be like fucking John Moss, a fat twat, okay? Hit the like button. Be a man. Be like Auba on a penalty on a Sunday, not a Thursday. You've had all week to prepare for this. All week to prepare for this. And I've only 137 likes. That's a really, really embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I'm not being funny, okay? Be like Arsene Wenger doing up his zipper. Get it right. Let's have 170 likes now, please. Be like the Arsenal. Smash United on a Sunday for the first time in a long time. Come on, people. Let's get going. Bloody hell, honestly, I got a bad shoulder. I'll be moaning to the boys. I'm not happy. 144, that's okay, but it's not good enough. 170, please. Let's get going. Tappy, let's get going. Scott Kiefer says, for fuck's sakes, Jason, get on with it. I think you're right, Scott. I think you're right. Come on, let's get going. We've had another donation. Mike Hernandez. I hit the like button like Aubameyang scored that penalty. Cool, calm, composed. Come on, you Gooners. Thanks for the show, gents. Mike, you're an absolute star, mate. Thank you ever so much. Dom, I'm coming back to you to start off second half, mate. And the only way he started off is Leno comes out to beat Lukaku when United counter. This just summed up Leno's game. He was everywhere today, wasn't he?
He was. We've seen some of our goalkeepers do that in the past and get it horribly wrong. No names, Chesney. But yeah, it was well read. Like I just don't think he made a mistake all game, did he? I think he was just even some of his distribution. I don't think we kind of realised just how blustery and windy it was there. And De Gea was really struggling in that first half with some of his distribution from goal kicks and things like that. But Leno didn't seem to be too fazed by it. And yeah, like I said, when we signed Leno, I thought, oh, okay, he's sort of still young, he's decent, but I didn't have too many expectations. But after a performance like today, it does give you hope that hopefully he can use this as a bit of a stepping stone and you see what he is capable of doing. And against the Tottenham game too, I thought he was brilliant there. But goalkeepers can make mistakes. Unfortunately for us, he didn't do any of that today.
No, I think we've been mentioning on the show for a few weeks now. I think Leno's form has been superb. I really do. I think it's been excellent for the last few weeks. I think he's somebody we've got to invest the time and effort in because we've splashed out in him. He's delivering for us. He really is today. He was excellent, and it was great to see. John, you get Lacazette, a lovely 1-2 with Auba, slips in the box, can't get his shot away. Then United start to come into the game. Rashford shoots over the ball. You get a fantastic block from Fred, and then Leno, another save from Lukaku. Oh my God, it was just bonkers, wasn't it? I want you to talk about that, and then I want to hand across to Dom on it as well, please.
Yeah, United obviously were going to come out second half a lot stronger than they were in the first, and I just thought they started to get Pogba more on the ball. Fred, who I haven't seen a ton of, and I know he was sort of kind of out of favour after the whole Mourinho thing, and he's come back in now. Just they're shorter players. He looked okay to me today. I thought he was decent, and they started to get a bit more on the ball. They were dealing with Ozil a bit better, and yeah, that Lukaku chance in particular, just the ball. I can't remember who it was for United who played the ball into him, but Nacho steps up. And I think it's Koscielny is just the last one and doesn't step up quite in line, otherwise to play him offside. But Leno's just out like a shot. And you can see the look on Lukaku's face. He's just sort of like looking around like, how have I not scored a goal? And I thought Leno today was... We've been saying, like you just said, we've been saying for a few weeks about his performances, but his reading of the game and his speed at coming out, it seems so much better now. And also like we've said before about how defences are about partnerships and understanding and how it takes time to build up those sort of connections within the team. I think you're starting to see now he's more consistent in what he's doing with the defenders in front of him, and they know what to expect from him, and they know the distances better that they can leave and what space they need to leave him to go in and act on. And he was really great in that. But yeah, I mean, Lukaku's face it summed it up perfectly when Leno made the save. Sorry, Dom, I don't know if you wanted to come in on that one.
No, I think I'll leave that one alone.
Fair enough. Then we see the point where I got to be honest, I lose my shit with John Moss, Dom. Pogba, now he's got a habit of doing this in games. Round the neck on Ramsey in front of John Moss. Just a free kick, not a card. I mean, on the rugby pitch, just a red card at times. It was absolutely ridiculous from John Moss. You know, it's clearly grabbed him round the neck. He knows what he's doing. I mean, what were your thoughts on that?
I know that after the United game in Paris where the VAR got stuff terribly wrong and everybody was sort of talking about how it's going to ruin the game, and that's the kind of thing that it'll get better. You know, like I am somebody that is an advocate for it, and it will get better. But what I don't understand is the inconsistencies in referees from week to week, where in another game somewhere else, you could easily see someone getting a yellow card for that kind of thing, and or a red. You know, it wouldn't be the craziest thing you'd ever seen. And then in our game, it's a free kick. It's just the inconsistencies across the board with refereeing in the Premier League, I find just absolutely baffling. I even said it in our little chat group this week, even before this week's weekend's fixtures, that it just seems so bizarre how decisions can change. And it's obviously all down to the interpretation of the referee. And that's where VAR can hopefully help, where you can have some more black and white rulings. And, you know, if somebody was to then review that and say, well, here's the rules. You can't do X, Y, and Z. Did he do those things? Yes. Then it takes that level of inconsistency away a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems to be, I'm not even trying to kind of play the victim card and say, oh, it's always against us. I'm just saying in general, across the board, it just seems so baffling. You don't know what's a free, what's a not, what's a red, not what's not. You know, Torreira getting a red card one week as a foul the next. It's just not, you just don't know. The referee blows his whistles and everybody sat there like, what's going to happen? We don't know.
Yeah. John, what were your thoughts on it? Because, I mean, it's around the neck. You're not allowed to touch anybody. You know, you're not allowed to touch anybody in rugby above the shoulders. So explain why this is only a free kick to me, because I'm perplexed by this one.
I mean, I didn't think it was a red, and I didn't think it was malicious or anything like that. I think it's just he's gone to pull Ramsey back because he's lost his position on him, and it's what is it? A professional foul. Well, you know, like if a man's going past you, go, okay, I'm going to take one for the team and take a yellow card. I think he's just gone to pull him down, but it's just where he's caught him on the neck. So why he doesn't give a yellow for it, I don't know.
Well, this is the same referee. This is the same referee who a couple of seasons ago against Swansea City, okay, at the Emirates, gives Xhaka a red card for taking down an opponent from behind in his own half.
Yeah, this is it's like Dom said. First of all, there's inconsistencies between the actual refs within the league themselves. Every single year, the rules are reviewed and they will make changes to them. The problem is that we may hear like one rule that's changed and is actually probably a whole ton of different things that have changed, or the wording has changed slightly. So then that means that if a referee, although they will be informed about the new updates and everything else, they may not interpret it in the same way as another referee because they might not have been at the same course and all these kind of things. So there's so many different factors to it. And I'm not like taking blame away from referees for getting mistakes. That will look. I accept that's a part of the game, and unfortunately, it's going to happen regardless. It doesn't matter how you can have the best referee in the world. You're still going to make at least one mistake every game, if not more. Linesmen will do it, fourth official, whoever. Same as footballers will, managers will. We will. Obviously, not you, Jason. You're perfect. We know you never make a mistake.
Thank you.
But there's no clarity on the rules, and there isn't clarity for the fans. Like, if you asked fans what the offside rule was, I think you'd probably get near enough exactly the same answer from most fans, within slight differences in the wording. But then you saw the Harry Kane thing the other week, and I don't know what the offside rule is anymore, because you see Raheem Sterling's goal yesterday. Now, whilst I'm extremely happy that Man City won and it means that Liverpool are less likely to win the league, and thank you, Watford, for losing and shipping that many goals, I have no idea how Raheem Sterling's goal is not offside, the one he scores. And it's that inconsistency, that's what happens. And then when you add in, everyone's excited and going, okay, VAR's going to fix it all. But then you watch Champions League and things like that and you think, well, hang on a minute, they still get decisions wrong in VAR. It takes 3-4 minutes, apparently, to get everything done. And it just doesn't make any sense. So I think there needs to be a serious review on the rules, the way it's worded. And don't be scared of the technology. There's nothing wrong with VAR. It's not technology's fault if a referee or a human being makes a decision wrong. It's the rules or the way it's worded or the way it's interpreted. That's the problem. It's not the technology.
The implementation is the issue, isn't it?
Yeah, those things can only improve the game, but you have to give them time. It's the same as anything else in football. Loads of things have changed over the years. Like the back, goalkeeper used to have to pick the ball up when you kick the ball back. That was extremely bizarre thing to change.
How is Socrates' challenge in the first half a yellow on Pogba, and that is not even a card. It's with his hand around.
I don't know, because you have to show me both challenges again, exactly where the referee's standing at the time, exactly his eyesight, eye line on it, and I don't know what's going through the referee's head. Now, I'm not buying into the conspiracy, like Dom said. I don't think this whole thing, referees are against us. I think that's completely nonsense, to be perfectly honest. I don't think referees are in favour of one team more than the other. I think referees make bad decisions. It's just human nature. Okay. It's just the problem is that, obviously we come in here and we do it to talk about Arsenal. And what's happened in the game. In the broader sense, when you watch Match of the Day or whatever the equivalent is in the US or Australia or India, wherever you're from, the majority of those shows end up being about the referee, what the referee's done, what the linesman's done, rather than the two teams and the performance they've put on the pitch. And it negates the topic of football.
Yeah, no, that's a fair comment. Right, let's get on with it then, is it? John, I'm going to stick with you in this. Aubameyang foul on Pogba, great position for their free kick. Thankfully, they over-elaborate and Rashford shoots wide. Oh, I was wondering, what the hell is going to go on there? I was really scared of that.
Genuinely, I thought that kid was going to absolutely bury that, because he can't after a ball. Christ. United fans in the box, if you ever want to sell him, just saying, look, I know we're not short of some good strikers at the moment, but I wouldn't say no.
I got to be honest with you, he caught it, didn't he? The connection was good, just thankfully it was off target. But you're just wondering, why is he making that challenge? It was a silly challenge to make in that position, wasn't it?
Yeah, he doesn't need to make the challenge there. Look, Pogba's faced up by our midfield and our defenders. I like the fact he's coming back and he's trying to help the team, but you're just asking for trouble giving away a free kick in that position. But it's a typical forwards challenge as it happens.
Yeah. Dom, we get a great counter-attack. Aubameyang screws it up. Then we get Leno saving from Rashford. But, we come back, we counter from there. and you get Xhaka shooting wide from some lovely interplay from the boys in the corner. As much as I felt United were dominating the game at this point, we were having our moments, weren't we? We really were having chances.
I don't think we were ever in a position that whole game where I was watching and feeling like we didn't have some control over it. Even when they were slightly on top, I still felt that we were, 2 or 3 passes away from opening them up and creating a great counter-attack. I don't think that we were really pushed back on the back foot for long periods of the game like potentially we had them early in the first half. But it was definitely it was a very interesting, bizarre game, wasn't it? It was just this back and forward, almost, a missed kick here, a missed touch there. It really could have been. I don't know what the stats are. I mean, Danny's in the chat box. I'm sure he's probably got them in front of him. But it seemed like it was 50-50 across the board. Fouls, corners, shots for, shots on target, saves made, like all of it. It seemed like it was just a very well balanced match.
Yeah.
Sorry, just quickly, I was going to say on that, this felt like, when Arsenal and United were really going at it in the 90s and early 2000s, and like every time they played, it was like it would almost decide the title. It felt more closer to one of those sort of games. Not the same quality in terms of everything that was on the pitch, because we didn't, obviously, you don't have, Vieira and Keane, and you don't have Van Nistelrooy and Emery and stuff like that. But in the fact that it was back and forth, and those games would always be 1 or 2 moments of either brilliance or a mistake, and that's what would decide them. But both teams would have chances, and it felt closer to one of them. To me, anyway, watching it.
No, they did, because as much as we dominated the first half, they dominated the second. Danny's just put in there shots 13 on target, 2 to us, 3 to them. Possession 51% to their 49%. It really was an evenly matched game of football. But I think they all have been this season with them. I genuinely thought they were. We've been an evenly matched team with them. Petito 100 has just piled in with $5. Thank you, Petito. You're an absolute rock star, mate. And he says, Emery has got it right against most of the top 6 games. Even Liverpool away, we scored before collapsing. I think he's got more right than he's got wrong, to be fair to him. I'm really pleased with today and the way he turned out, because I was not confident when I saw 3 at the back. Really wasn't, but fair play to him. And the boys, they pulled, they finished it, which is fantastic. John, to you first on this, then across to Dom, then the penalty. Break down the side, Ramsey into Lacazette. Fred comes in with the challenge. Now, Fred does lead with his shoulder. John Moss, in all fairness to John Moss, and I don't like to defend him, where John Moss is positioned, that's all he can see are legs and a Fred moving forward. Let's be honest, Lacazette went down awfully easy, didn't he?
He's finally listened to me, Jace, at last. Honestly, so immediately, I think it was Lana sent me a message and said, "John, you bastard, you finally got Lacazette to go down." So, for me, that wasn't a penalty. It was very, very soft. But look, I'd take it all day. I think when you saw the replay on it, like you said, John Moss's position, all he can see is the back of Fred's shirt, and it might be Matic or someone sort of running across, screening his view a little. So from the referee's perspective, yes, it probably looks like a penalty. I would have thought the linesman probably had a pretty clear view of it, to be honest, and maybe could have said, don't give it. But look, it happens. United fans will probably be annoyed that it was given. In the end, they didn't score a goal, so I guess it doesn't count. I know there's plenty of United fans, though, who also said that they didn't deserve a penalty in the Champions League this week against PSG that they got, but they're still very happy they got one. So, look, we'll take it. It would be interesting to see what would happen if we had VAR for that, whether it would be given or not.
In all fairness, I've got to say this, that, he's gone with his shoulder, Fred has. It is soft, don't get me wrong, but we've seen Wayne Rooney over the years, join the Red Arrows diving team to win penalties and then be given. So, we've just had a little bit of a little bit of good luck there that we deserved. Dom, what was your view on it?
100% penalty. Lucky he wasn't severely injured. Should have been a red.
And that, my friends, is the gospel according to Dom. Jim House.
No, but in all seriousness, he gave the penalty so quickly that he must have been really confident where he was standing and from what it looked like to him, because he didn't even look over at the linesman to kind of get a little bit of a nod or to call anything, really, did he? He just was penalty, and yeah, I'll take it.
Absolutely, pal. It was nice to see. You know, we've been in the rough end of a lot of decisions against United over the years. So that one was one back in our favour, which I'm not exactly going to mourn too much.
What did you guys think when Aubameyang stepped up? Were you a little bit nervous? I would much prefer if I saw Lacazette approach that.
I genuinely, when you handed him the ball, I thought, oh, for fuck's sake, really?
Yeah.
When Lacazette, so he goes down and then the penalty is awarded, and I could see him like shouting. I don't know whether he said Alba take it or something, but he was clearly talking to Alba and saying, look, this is yours. You want to bury it. And I just thought, oh, no, don't. Why are you giving him the ball? And like, I appreciate that why Lacazette's done it. And it's like he wants to build up his strike partner and everything and give him that confidence. But yeah, I was not confident at all when he stepped up to take that.
Lacazette's just such a good penalty taker, isn't he? That you just think.
They showed on my stream, okay, on the whatever the one I was watching was, they showed Aubameyang's last few penalty kicks and where he places them. And they're all around the keeper. There's nothing in the corners. This guy's a bad penalty taker. He is not a good penalty taker at all. And thankfully, De Gea has gone early. Otherwise, you know, he's going to get to that as well. I mean, you know, there's nothing bang in the corner. These guys need to take penalty practice because this is just not good. I know he scores it, and credit to him for having the balls to stand up there after last week and do it. But it's when you see where he places the penalties, it's not good.
I mean, yeah, you're right. It worked out. Let's just, you know, thank God. And great for his confidence, as, you know, people in the chat box are kind of mentioning. But I still don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, if Lacazette's on the field, I'm giving him the ball, you know, especially against Manchester United. You're 1-0 up. It's a massive, massive goal that you really, really do need to put away. You miss that, they potentially sneak a goal, which they were, you know, threatening to do, and the game ends up 1-1, and you've dropped some points. I just feel like you've got to give it to the best penalty taker on the field, which is Lacazette, and he's just so good at penalties.
But Mickey Wilson says this year, he says, penalty practice for the 3 pens we get a year. What's the point? Well, the point could have been 3 points last week against Tottenham.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
they're huge.
Yeah, it's massive. Those 3 points would have us above Tottenham at the moment. Okay, but I look at this. If you're trying to build somebody's confidence up in a game this big against the United side, who've gone 8 unbeaten away from home, who've won 8 in the trot away from home, then I think you're taking the piss, to be honest with you. John,
and don't get us wrong, chat. Like I completely take my hat off to Lacazette for doing what he did in terms of the gesture. Like, don't get me wrong, but I would love to have seen that if we were 2-0 up and we got a penalty, and then he gives the ball to Aubameyang or something like that. Or, you know, it was just, if you think the situation of the game and how important that game was. Personally, you know, like I said, I'm not taking anything away from Lacazette. I love the guy. I think what he did was very admirable. But still, as I saw Aubameyang step up to take the penalty, I was like, I just wish it was the number 9 up there right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't have given it to Ozil. I wouldn't have given it to anyone else.
No.
Than Lacazette. John, your opinion?
I would have preferred Lacazette to take it. I mean, I don't care now because Aubameyang stepped up, he scored it. I thought it was a bad penalty still. It's like it looks good if it goes down the middle and the keeper dives out of the way, but it's not like he's hammered it down the middle. He sort of dribbled it, and it's even gone a little bit left. You know, if anything, there's one player I prefer to take penalties over any other, it's Xhaka, just because he could hit the ball so hard. Him or Kolasinac, I would imagine, would probably actually be our best 2 penalty takers because they can absolutely rifle a ball. And I think just if I'm ever nervous about it, a penalty and someone taking it, I just want whoever steps up just to go in and just hit it as hard as they can. And I think those two have got that. Sorry, Jim House, and your donation earlier, the little message didn't come up, but we've got it now. Pleased to see that we are the ones to take the wheels off the Ollie hype train. Sorry, mate, it didn't show up on your donation earlier, but thank you again for that.
Yeah, a big thank you to Jim Howson. Jim Howson writes regularly on Gunners Town, so look up his work on Gunners Town. Jim's a big supporter of the podcast, same as the other guys. And thank you, Jim. You're a rock star, mate. Really appreciate it. Carry on, John. Sorry, mate.
No, I mean, that was it. I mean, I just look. It's good. It's good that we've got two strikers who get on so well and want each other to do so well. I think that's great. And that, I mean, Aubameyang scoring is huge. He needed that confidence boost. You know, we're not going to have Lacazette on Thursday, which is another huge game. So he needed that. And I think that's probably part of the reason why Lacazette did it. He knows his strike partner needs that boost of confidence for that game because he knows he needs him to have that thing in his head of, okay, yeah, I've got it now. I've got over that little bogey period. And I'm going to bang the goals in Thursday night, hopefully.
Maybe. But if we hadn't won this game, that would have been something we'd be looking back on, wouldn't it? Dom, then we get Lacazette shooting wide from the break. And then you get Pogba picking up a yellow for a challenge on Xhaka. And this is the part where you just kind of think, okay, we're 2-0 up. There should have been a second yellow, in all honesty. It's ridiculous. Where were you at this point? You know, you've got Ozil about to come on for Iwobi, Suarez for Aubameyang, and we're not looking after the ball that well, are they?
No, I think that's probably why he made those changes, isn't it? He just wanted to kind of shut up shop. I'm fine with doing that. You're 2-0 up. You've got a very shaky defence at the best of times. You don't necessarily need to go out and score another one from there. Just trying to get some control back. And I think our midfield today were the difference makers, other than Bert Leno. You know, I don't want to take anything away from him. But I think the midfield battle, and I've said it before, in big games against all the top six, it's generally whoever wins that midfield battle. And I just thought that Ramsey and Xhaka were just immense in there today, as we mentioned earlier. And they did so much work. They really did. They were everywhere. And I think Pogba was probably a little frustrated. And I think you're right. I think he should have had a yellow well before that. I think he kind of rode his luck a little bit. But yeah, that midfield battle was super interesting. And I think that at that point in the game, Emery knew how important it was to keep controlling that area of the pitch, because it can go south very quickly if they start getting on top there. You know, even Pogba's one of those players that he only needs one little moment and he can change a game. We've seen it before. So, you know, I think Ozil ran his little socks off today. I think he did a lot of tracking back, and positionally he was quite good. So, yeah, I think that it was reasonably sensible substitutions at that point.
Yeah, I thought, I got to be honest, I thought Xhaka and Rambo were magnificent today, you know, and we'll come to man of the match a little bit later, but I thought those two were absolute, you know, they were magnificent for us throughout, from start to finish. They didn't stop, and, you know, they stopped an awful lot when United were on top, and you know they worked their socks off, as you said. John, we see Suarez come on, and he makes an impact today. It was really nice to see Suarez. He looked for the ball. He was creative. He looked like an important player, didn't he?
Yeah, when he was getting the ball, he was trying to carry it forwards. He was trying to get it into spaces, move it quickly. Look, we've said before he looks lightweight, and I think he still does. How quickly you can build muscle in a short period that he's at the club, I don't know. I'm not sure it's really possible with normal training that you have to do week to week. I think if you look at the best thing I can say about Suarez, and because there's a few people saying about we keeping him and all that kind of stuff, I'm really not sure. But if you look at the way that Emery used Torreira at the start when he came into the club, he come off a World Cup, he's new to the league, he's still young, and he slowly eased him in, and then he became a regular, and then he's taken him out for a few games where his energy levels have dipped a bit. Suarez has come in middle of the season in a very difficult period, has played, hardly any football, 3 games, I think, something like that, probably in total, the entire season. So it's going to take a long time until he gets in that position. And the manager will trust him. But that's a big backing and a bit of confidence for him, for the manager to say, okay, look, this is a massive game. He may be new to the club, but he will understand how big a game this is. I need you to come on and help us shut up shop. And if you get the chance, take the ball forward and make something happen. And he looked quite decent. So, yeah, I'm not going to get overexcited about him yet, but there's definitely something there in the player. Whether we keep him or not, we won't know till the summer.
No, absolutely. Right, I've turned my mic up and apologies. I do keep on moving about, so sorry, guys. Right, Dom, then we see a piece of play where our tenacity and spirit and fight was really on show. We were under the cosh. They were coming back at us, but we kept them out, didn't we? It was like the Great Wall of China, keeping back the Mongol hordes. It was really good to see after what can only be described as a pathetic performance on Thursday.
Yeah, they needed a response, didn't they? And luckily, like I said at the start, that you wouldn't have expected that. The two teams coming off the games that they had, you would have thought it was going to be the opposite. So it was really good to see. And also the confidence for the back 4 or 5 or whatever it was, and the goalkeeper to sort of go, hey, you know what? We just kept a clean sheet against a United team that's been on a roll, and we've been struggling to keep clean sheets. And like I said, the Spurs game and then the midweek game, it could have been a turning point for us. It really could have been a turning point where, had United got something out of that and or won, it's a really, really tough road back for us to be pushing for a top 4 spot. The games are coming thick and fast, and there's not too many left. And especially if you get an opportunity to take points off a team that you're in contention with, then, it's a huge, huge game. And so to keep a clean sheet, hopefully that then allows us to go on a little bit of a run now and get a little bit more confidence. Because I thought, in terms of the fact that we're not talking about Koscielny and Socrates, this probably means that they had a very good games, that they all played well together. And, generally when you start talking about them, it's because they've made mistakes. It's one of those things, like a good referee, you don't notice. And it's almost a little bit the same with some defenders sometimes, is that if it's all functioning and working well, then hopefully you're not really having to point things out too much about them.
I thought the number of saves Leno made says it all, to be honest. I don't think Socrates or Koscielny were bad today, but the number of times they got through on goal speaks for itself.
I think there's more at play there than just the centre backs, isn't it? You got to factor in the fact that United are a good team in good form, and you're not going to be able to try to create chances and not let them get the ball at the same time.
They've got a lot of pace in their team, and with Monreal, so I thought Nacho was really good today. I thought Socrates was solid today. I thought he got lucky in the first half. There was a challenge in the box which, on another day could have been given as a pen, but Koscielny, I think Koscielny, after his first few games back, is now. I did not think he'd be back to this quality. I think Koscielny's been absolutely magnificent the past few weeks. All credit to him. It's brilliant to see, but it's one of those things. Nathan Gooner has smashed in a £5 donation. Nathan, you're a rock star, and he's a cheeky monkey. He says, "Do you think Monchi says Monchi when going downtown on women?" I'm not sure. I hope he does, to be honest with you, Nath. And then he says, "Fuck the Manx, up the Arsenal." Well, you can't beat that, can you? Fair play. Thank you, Nath. You're an absolute rock star, mate. Much appreciated. I'm just finishing off now, John, with another Leno save from Rashford. Okay, it just kind of sums up the game for me. I thought Leno was magnificent today, but I just couldn't believe we ended that game with a clean sheet. What were your two thoughts, guys? It's one of those. I look at this team. I was terrified when I saw 3 at the back at the beginning of it, but I saw people like Kolasinac, Koscielny, Socrates, Monreal step up to the plate today. I thought the front 3, they worked hard, but they weren't great. We had enough chances. We could have been 4 up. It could have been 4-4, to be fair. Okay, but I thought Leno was absolutely magnificent alongside Rambo and Xhaka. John, you first, then across to... And AMN, yeah, John Bernstein says AMN, big shout to AMN. I thought he played well second half. But what are your thoughts on this game? Because that's it for the game, guys.
Yeah, I just thought, look, we got 2 chances, we scored. I thought the penalty was a little bit soft, to be honest. I didn't think it was a penalty, but I'll happily take it. The goal Xhaka got was great, and maybe we got a bit of luck with De Gea. Lukaku probably should have scored for them, and I don't think there's anything the defence or Leno could have done about that one particular chance. But all the other chances they got, we defended brilliantly. Leno made some great saves. I thought Socrates, Nacho, and Koscielny as the back three were really, really solid today. Xhaka covered them great. Ramsey playing deeper than he normally does was really, really good and shows you what you can do there. Kolasinac was so good going forwards. Maitland-Niles in the second half in particular, he made some huge tackles to break up any of their attacks. And yeah, the only little bit of disappointment is maybe that we didn't take some of the chances that we created that Aubameyang and Lacazette could have got on the end of. Other than that, I thought it was really good. And the big thing for me about the game was, you know, it wasn't just the performance, because United did play quite well. And they obviously had chances. It was the fact the manager went out and played with a lot of attackers on the pitch. It was quite adventurous, which is not something we've necessarily seen him do against any of the top 6 sides or the ones we're competing with for top 4. And I think he got everything spot on today tactically. It was brilliant. It was really, really good from him. And that gives him a little bit of leeway again, I think, after what happened in the Rennes game. And we needed a response. We really, really did need a response. And it wasn't just getting 3 points today. There was a really good performance as well.
Dom, your thoughts, mate?
Well, I feel like after we've had this bit of a chat so far, it feels like the opposite of what normally happens when we play United in recent years, where we'll have good spells, create some great chances, the ball doesn't go our way, De Gea plays out of his skin, and we can see, you know, the 2 goals that they get on target and we lose 2-0. That seems to be on, you know, questionable penalty, etc., etc. So it's a bit bizarre sitting on the other side at the moment. So I'm still a little bit confused.
Yeah,
I'm over the moon though. Don't get me wrong. I'm ecstatic. That's just absolutely made my day that we still performed very well, and some of the, you know, like the Xhaka goal, for example, the De Gea mess up on that one, and then the penalty and Leno playing out of his skin, like all of it coming together is just, yeah, it was awesome.
Do you know what? I'm amazed we got a clean sheet. Absolutely amazed. But I'll take it every day of the week. I thought we were a little bit lucky.
I don't think we were bad defensively either, though, at the same time, were we?
We weren't, but they created clear-cut scoring opportunities.
They did.
Which on another day, they'd have banged in 3 of them.
Yeah, but I think the thing is...
we could have had 2 or 3 more too.
Yeah, when you play against a good team, they're going to create chances. It doesn't matter how good you are. You're still going to get chances created against you. You can be... Look, we've seen some of terrible Arsenal teams score goals against Barcelona, against probably the best Barcelona team that's ever been put together. And Nicolas Bender has scored against them. You know, it doesn't matter how good the team is.
He's the greatest of all time, though. You do realise that.
I know. Obviously, Messi learned everything off of him, but you can still create those chances, and you can still have a really, really good game defensively. But an opponent will still create chances because there's still very good footballers out on the pitch. But yeah, there you go. Elneny scored against Barcelona.
Yeah, well, hey, no comment.
What happened to him? Is he still around? What's he doing? Is he with Jenkinson carrying the drinks?
He was sat on the bench today.
Yeah. Right, Jim Howson's piled in with another donation. Jim, you're a rock star. Thank you so much, pal. And he says, Ramsey was pretty good, okay? Can he have a contract?
Why have you done it? Why have you set him off? You've lit the fuse. Go on, Jace.
Don't even do it. Don't do it.
I'm just going to say this, okay? I think Ramsey's performances throughout this season have showed that there's more to his contract that meets the eye. And Raul Sanlehi is a bit of a twat. And Unai's had to lie about he doesn't suit my system. Because clearly he does. You know, clearly whenever he plays, he does very, very well. Tottenham home, Tottenham away. Big game player. You know what I mean? And we're letting him go for nothing and spending 20 million quid on Denis Suarez. And it's nothing against Denis Suarez. I thought he did well today, but it's a piss take. It's a piss take. It really is. So let's go to some questions, is it, lads? Before I burst a blood vessel. Can't fucking believe it. I really can't believe it. What are we doing? It's just sad. Okay. Michael Hahnemann was first with his first question. John, this one is for. Is it safe to say we can match it with the big boys again? Now, Spurs home and away, Chelsea home, narrowly beaten away, United home and away, Liverpool at home.
I think we're capable of beating... in this league, I would say that we are capable of beating every team bar City. And I mean, if everyone's playing to their top level, I just think Man City just have better players than us. I don't think that's a stupid thing to say. It doesn't mean we couldn't beat them. Of course we could, because they could have an off day and we could be at our absolute peak. Those things happen. You have to go into them tactically correct. You've got to be lucky with having the right players fit or not suspended. And sometimes you need a bit of luck in the game as well. So all those things contribute. I think we've seen that Emery is flexible at times enough this season. Generally, he's got things right when it comes to formations and picking the right lineup and everything else. I think the period of time where Ozil was out of the team really did hinder us. And it was partly because Ozil wasn't being picked, but also I think because of not having Mkhitaryan as well, which is a big thing we should say about today, actually, is the fact that he didn't have Mkhitaryan to call on, who's been really, really good since he's come back from injury. And he wasn't available today, and we managed to put that performance in, and he's been quite a big player for us.
He's been a big player for us for 3 games.
Yeah, but they've all been important games, to be fair. So,
Okay. No, that's fair comment, isn't it?
So, I think that shows it's going in the right direction, but you're always going to get things wrong, and we're going to have slip-ups and stuff. Are we at the level to compete for the title yet? No. We're not there, That's if Pep believes in the summer, maybe. I just think City are that far ahead of us, to be honest.
I think Liverpool and City are way ahead of us. The rest of them are going to...
I don't think Liverpool are as far ahead as everyone thinks.
They humped us 4-1 at their place, mate.
There's probably a few transfer windows ahead of us.
Yeah, but I think...
Could they go well?
I think there's some Liverpool players that are perhaps not as good as everyone thought. And maybe some people are seeing it in their second season. Egyptian Walcott. There we go.
How many goals he got, mate?
I don't know. He's not had a very good season, though. He's banging out 40 and scored for ages.
He's got a lot of goals, hasn't he? He's got a lot of goals.
He's still not very good at football.
In any case, and 235100 says, what was the address on the label Jason's mic came in? I'll tell you what was on the address. And Danny effing the GFP put in there to Jason Tappy Davis. I just got a show earlier on. This geezer arrives. Are you Jason Tappy Davis? I said, yes, I am. I'm a dressing gown and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, you twat, Danny. But talking to Tappy, there's 192 likes there now. Come on. Can I have 200, please? Don't embarrass yourselves. Don't embarrass the club. And don't embarrass your parents. Hit the like button. Tappy. Let's get going. Dom, the next question's for you, mate. Muspus asks, should we put all our eggs in the Premier League basket and the rest of our players in the French team, against the French team? And rest our players... Sorry. Should we put all our... Oh, you bastard, John.
I know what you're saying. I've deciphered your rambles. That's a tough one. I don't envy Emery's position for that, because you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If he goes and plays a somewhat rotated team midweek and we don't get through, and then he goes all out for the Premier League, and United and Spurs and Chelsea start winning every game, it's tough. I feel like, sensibly, you got to do what you're in control of. And what we're in control of right now is trying to win the Europa League. Because if we just win games there and we keep getting through, we're not worried about what other people are doing. we could easily have a really decent run into the back end of the Premier League and still not get top 4 because we're also relying on other teams' performances. So I think you've got to try your best to try and have a crack at both at the moment, don't you? I mean, it's one game, isn't it? We'll soon know after midweek. He plays a somewhat decent team that can go out there and try and put a couple of goals past the Frenchies. Then we'll know, you know.
I think we've got to compete on both fronts. This is the Arsenal. We're not Mourinho and United, you know. We're not that shit. If you look at our run-ins compared to Chelsea, Tottenham and United, we've got easier run-ins in the league. Okay, we've played all the big teams now. They're all done. If we win all our games, we will finish 3rd or 4th. Okay, either one. It's as simple as that in the league. But don't tell me we can't go out and hump Rennes. We put in an embarrassing performance on Thursday. We need to put that right. I think it's a case of we're in 2 competitions. Let's attack them both. We can do it. You know, the Europa League, Rennes aren't the worst team in the world. As much as we take the mickey with Farmers League, they're not the worst team in the world. But they're mid-table league. We're a better club than we showed on Thursday night, and we need to put that right for our own sakes. John, question from Marcus Hodges. We seem to be such an up-and-down team. Are we inconsistent because of the lack of depth, or is it something else?
I think there's an issue in some areas in terms of lack of depth. You know, we've been unlucky with injuries in defence. We clearly don't have any depth at right back because we've only got one. We've got Cole Jenkinson, but he's not allowed to play all the time. You have to save him for the big games, the really, really big important ones, because, you know, if Jenko plays, we're going to win. So I think that is part of the issue. The other problem is as well, you're going to be inconsistent when you've got a manager coming in and he's trying to impart new ideas to players who have played, a lot of them played for a long period in a certain way, in a certain style. And this is all very new to him. Also, it's not the same system every week. It's not the same players being picked. So you're going to get this up and down sort of kind of thing. It's about them learning Emery and his style and what he wants them to do on the pitch. But it's also about Emery learning the league as well. It's not just one way. It's new for him as well when he's got to learn all this stuff. So regardless of who we got as manager, you were going to have this period of, you know, up and down kind of games and week to week changing and stuff. We've gone back and said it before. When you look at Pep's first season at City, he did some amazing things, but also did some fucking awful, like really bad, stupid mistakes in games and stuff. So it doesn't matter how good you are, you're going to have those learning curves.
Yeah, I think you've got to add into that as well. Some of the team selections this season have been poor. Today he got his spot on, and all credit to him. Yeah, and
I think some of the teams in the Premier League are better than people give credit for. I think Wolves are a much better team than people realise. Everton, although they're on a bad run and they chucked away a 2-0 lead yesterday, they've got some very good players. And I think in general, the quality of the teams that are below that top 6 are much higher than they used to be, say from like 10 years ago.
With the money that's come in, no question.
Yeah.
Like some of the spending that those teams down there have done is crazy.
We look at Fulham spent over 100 million and they're going to get relegated. You know, it's insane.
They spend it badly, didn't they? You know, I mean, there's spending.
It's not bad players they bought. You know, they bought what? Who's the German international whose name I've forgotten?
Oh,
the one who was at Chelsea. Yeah, they had him.
Schürrle.
You know, they had Sessegnon obviously from development.
Who's the French guy in the middle from Nice?
Jean Serry. Jean-Michel.
Yeah,
you know, so they bought good players. They're not bad players. They've got just, you know, it just shows you how much the difference in the quality from now to say 10 years back and those lower down teams. It makes it more difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's move on. John Bernstein asks exactly the same question as An235100. Danny, what have you been saying to people? You're a git. Pete Coulson has one for you, Dom. What is sweeter, undoing Ole's unbeaten run by a dodgy pen, or the Rooney irony, he says, or shutting up the Farmers League apologists on Thursday?
The Man United. Has to be.
Absolutely, pal.
And then, like I said, having it go back to the studio and Giggs instantly complaining about the penalty was just the icing on the cake.
some things in life are just sweet, aren't they? I'll take this next one. Gooners73 asks, do you think we finally turned the corner, or is it another false dawn? I think I just don't know. You know, you go from a decent performance away at Spurs to the shit we put up on the pitch on Thursday night to this. I think, as John just said, we are where we are with this. I think it's just going to be a case of, I think Unai's going to make mistakes. I think, you know, some of the football this season I've seen has been dog shit. It's been awful. But some of the really good stuff has been well worth watching, and that's been encouraging. Today is a really encouraging moment. So, you know, we've got to take it as it comes, I think. I think the bottom line is either win Europa League or finish top 4 or do both, and he's a success. He's a massive success this season. If he gets Champions League, he's a huge success. And that's all that matters now. That's all that matters. John, Brandon Clinton-Jones asks, a question about VAR. It's obviously very useful to see if there was contact or if it was handball. But I feel like the refs are awful at judging intent in slow motion. Is there a good way for them to work this out?
I said this earlier in our group. I think it might have been from the Spurs game yesterday. Someone put the Sissoko thing in with the headbutt, and I said, well, you know, obviously, yeah, his head's gone in, but whenever you show something in slow motion, it always looks 10 times worse. Well, it shouldn't have been a red card, but there you go, that's them.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to stick your head in somebody else's face.
No.
But it doesn't really matter.
But there's the one thing I would say is using slow motion is fine if you're trying to see if a ball hits someone's hand. Like if you need to slow it down because it's at an awkward angle or whatever to see it. So you can see if the ball, where it makes contact.
Or it goes out of play.
Yeah, that kind of thing. I think that's fine. But what you should then do is after you've seen it and you go, okay, it definitely hits his hand, then from every angle you watch it at full speed, because then you get to see, you know, the distance it's travelled, has he moved his arm out, all that kind of stuff. Because when you do it in slow motion, if a player jumps, their arms naturally go out. So if you're watching that in slow motion, it looks like he's putting his arms out intentionally. When actually, when you watch it at full speed, you go, oh, actually, no, he's just jumping naturally, and your arms just will do that. You don't jump up like a penguin, you know, with your arms like tucked in by your side. So I think there are all of those things need to be looked at and need to be reviewed. And as far as I'm aware, I know they've done it in Italy where they've changed some rules on what they use VAR for and how they review it. They'll get stuff wrong next season, guaranteed. They will make mistakes. There will be some decisions where you go, well, I thought that's offside, and they'll say, well, actually, no, according to the rules, this is not, and whatever else. In those cases, then it's just down to the rules, and they need changing or need clarifying, like we said earlier. But they're going to get stuff wrong. There's still a degree of human error, even with using technology. So it's just part of the game that you have to accept. You're never going to get everything perfect. But there's no point. What I would say is don't shy away from it and say VAR's going to ruin the game. It might be crap for the first season and might be annoying, but it will get better every year.
When you look around the rest of the world in top sports, they all have introduced some form of replay analysis, and it's only helped. And it's going to take a little minute. You're right. It's going to take a bit of time. And like you said, hopefully it takes away the interpretation of the referee, because that's the inconsistency. Like we just spent most of the show talking about that and touching on it, where, well, we don't know whether that's a yellow or a red because we saw something last week that wasn't even a foul. And now this week it's a yellow card. And then like it changes from game to game. So once they get some hard and fast black and white ruling on some certain things, like you said, Jace, you don't need intent to know whether you've put your head into somebody. If you've made contact with your head and you've moved forward, bad luck. If it looks bad in slow motion, well, guess what? You're not allowed to do it. You're off. So certain things like that, hopefully, will be a thing of the past. And then, like John said, it's just a matter of what do they use it for and how do they interpret the different things, you know? So it's going to take a little bit, but I think it's going to be a good thing long term. It's just, it is shit right now. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's great right now, but I don't think it's worth throwing away.
I also think you have to look at just the referees right now. I wouldn't want to be a referee. Fuck no. Doesn't matter how much you pay me. I would not be remotely interested, because the stick and the abuse and stuff that some of these guys must get if they're seen out on the street must be horrendous. And I'm sure they get death threats and all sorts of things like that. It wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. I mean, if you just think of the way some of our fans treat our own players, now imagine you're a referee and you've given a decision against us that some people think is contentious. That's a horrible thing, you know. So there's also a lack of referees coming through wanting to do the job because of the abuse they get.
There's a lack of respect on the pitch as well, let's be honest. Okay, you know, I mean, there's that great incident where they mic'd up a ref, and you had Adams and Co. You know, it was it was ours, and you know, all these legends of the club. But if you spoke to me like that and I was a referee, I'd fucking headbutt you. You know, I wouldn't put up with that shit. You know, it's absolutely disgusting. You know, and I don't get it. Come from a rugby background, you know, you call the referee sir. Is a different way of dealing with it. You know, don't get me wrong, rugby's not great, but you know, the way referees are spoken to and what have you, I agree with you there. I really do. On to this, we can do a couple more questions, guys. Then we're going to talk about, there was an incident with a fan running on the pitch, and we are going to talk about that, okay? Dom, you first. My uncle again asks, should Suarez start the midweek game ahead of if Mickey is out?
I think John touched on this earlier, and I mean, I didn't sort of come in on it, but just to add to what he was saying, basically, that the fitness of somebody that hasn't really been playing much, you can't underestimate how important match fitness is. And if you have an injury through pre-season and you kind of miss the pre-season, you've seen it before with people like Wilshere, where it's so hard to get up to speed into a match speed environment without playing regularly or having a pre-season. So he may have had a good pre-season and then just hasn't been playing, so he's slowly lost his conditioning. You can't just go and chuck a guy in for 90 minutes. It's just not going to work. He's either A, going to get injured, or he's going to fatigue so quickly that he's going to be subbed at halftime. So there is a big element to what we're seeing with Suarez where I just don't think he's up to speed just yet, which makes me kind of wonder whether he was a great addition to the team unless we have long-term plans for him. Because somebody that hasn't been playing regularly, knowing that it's going to take him time to get up to speed. But hey, look, I guess we've been playing Ramsey, which is great. You know, I would have understood if the manager said, well, look, Ramsey's going to be leaving the club. We need to start getting prepared for life without him. I'm glad that he is playing him because he's, in my opinion, our best midfielder, and we need all the help we can get to get the top four. But I don't know that. I mean, it's probably going to be him or Guendouzi, isn't it? Because Torreira's out. I think he plays Ramsey and Xhaka again. I don't know.
I think he may go Ozil one side, Iwobi the other. That's what I think he may do, and maybe push Ramsey in the middle.
You don't think he'll do the similar formation as today?
No, I think he'll go forward at the back. Who will play that? I don't know, but you know, it's a strange one. I mean, with regards to Suarez, you know, I think great coming on, but genuinely, if you're letting Aaron Ramsey go for nothing and you're paying a loan fee for Denis Suarez and then you're going to pay 20 million quid to Barcelona for him, I'm wondering just how big is Raul Sanllehi's gambling debt at Barcelona, because that's a fucking charity buy. It's ridiculous. John, the robots will eat you asks, assuming we get third, who do you want to get fourth?
I don't know.
The correct answer is Everton.
Yeah, I was going to say that's exactly what I was going to say.
Well, I mean, Everton can't get it because they're 11th.
Whoever's just underneath? Who's the next one?
It would be Wolves.
There you go, Wolves then.
I tell you what, I wouldn't mind seeing Wolves get fourth. That'd be great. I can't see it happening. Out of the realistic ones, I would prefer, and I know this will annoy some people, but I would prefer Chelsea just because I like Maurizio Sarri. It'd be funny to see Man United after they've been on this great one, then finally collapse back out of it. You know, and obviously Spurs to completely capitulate as they are spectacularly imploding, going on about their fancy new stadium, and now they're going to... How the fuck are they getting away with playing their quarter-final of the Champions League game in there, allegedly? I don't know how they've got away with that. But, fuck.
Don't ask me. Don't ask me, mate. Dom, the Robots Will Eat You asks, what do you make of Ozil's performance today? Now, I got to be honest with you, I wasn't impressed with him initially in the first half. Entering into the second half, you can see the options he was giving us and his movement off the ball. I kind of agree with John. But he didn't really have a... He was a good outlet today, but he didn't impact on the game, did he? Dom? You're on mute. John?
What's he... I don't know what he's done.
What's he done?
I've got no idea. I haven't
John,
muted
you answer this because you spoke glowingly about Mesut Ozil earlier on. So carry on.
I have to be nice about him. Okay. Look, no, I thought he was really good today. You saw what problems he will cause a team and how much he can disrupt a team's plan if you give him that freedom. And he was afforded that because we played free at the back, because we had two centre mids who were prepared to screen. He had options out wide to hit, and he had two strikers to hit as well. Does that restrict at the times when you can use him? Yes. Does that mean you can be critical of him sometimes? Yes, of course. But I actually thought that he did everything well today. He tracked back really well, and he played in some really nice balls. Did I think he could play better? Yeah, because I've seen him play better, definitely. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. But I thought everything he contributed on the pitch today was good. And it was a good sign, to see that there's obviously some cooling between whatever happened between the manager and him. I don't know what it is, and that they are starting to get a bit more of an understanding. And the fact that he's prepared to play him in a big game like this, that's a really good sign. Because, look, let's be honest, if you get Mesut Ozil playing well, then, you're going to get the best out of Aubameyang, Lacazette, the fullbacks and stuff that we've got running on, because he's got that ability. So,
hello?
Hey, Dom's back.
He's back.
Yeah. So if you can keep getting performances out of him, that's only a good thing for the team. That's not bad.
I was going to say with the Ozil thing, I've said it before. Sorry, Jace. With him, he's this unique player that he can be man of the match or get slated based on how well the players around him end up doing. So if he gets the ball and releases a great pass down a channel somewhere, Kolasinac crosses it in, no one's there to finish it, no one really looks at the fact that Ozil just did something really good. If that then gets finished, then we all look back to, wow, what a brilliant pass from Ozil. So there's this extra layer to, I feel like, his game sometime where he's not that kind of Lacazette dribble past everyone, smash into the back of the net, and you just go, whoa. He's going to be this guy that sometimes lives and dies by whether the people in front of him have a good game or not. I think he did do a lot of, like I said, in the first half, had it not been for those couple of offsides that were, I think, incorrectly given, you don't know what that would have led to, because he was in really good positions at that point too. So all in all, but if you look back, and people kind of talk about Ozil going missing in big games, what about some of the big top six performances we've had at home over the last few years? The Chelsea game with him and Sanchez dominating, the Man United game, the Liverpool game. There's been some big games where he has turned up and absolutely dominated. Maybe not so much away from home, but at home against the big teams, I don't think it's actually all that accurate to say that he goes missing. I think that he's been integral to some of those amazing performances we've spoken about that we've had at home against big teams. So maybe, if we're to play Man City away next week, for example, and he got rested and we went for, an extra man in midfield, I'm fine with that. That's not an issue. But we've had some terrible performances against some pretty average teams this year with him not playing. Yeah. And it's baffled me where he's playing Iwobi over Ozil. And anyone that tells me that we're a better team with Iwobi out on the field than Mesut Ozil against, lower to mid-table teams when we're struggling to create chances, I'm not sure that I've agreed with that in the past. So if he just plays against the bottom teams and against the big ones at home, and that's what we use him for, then, people might say it's a waste of money. But those games that we've struggled to score in, I mean, they're the difference between top four and not top four by the end of the season.
I I think it's a good point, mate. I think it's a good point. I'll take the next one. Neil Vigela asks, what did you make of Iwobi? I genuinely thought Iwobi did well when he came on. I thought him and Suarez both did well. I thought they were full of intent. I thought they were full of vigor as well. I thought they really, they were up for the challenge. They were there to finish the game off. And I think some of Iwobi's skill at times is phenomenal. It does help when you've got a Ramsey on the pitch and you've got the attacking players as an outlet for him. Thought he and Suarez linked up really well at times. I think Alex Iwobi at the moment is developing very nicely. Thank you very much, and all credit to him because he had a tough year last year, and it's showing great character of him to come back in this way. And I just hope he does himself justice going forward because it's really nice to see him. A big shout out to AMN as well. We have mentioned him earlier on, but it's a difficult position for him to play, and I thought AMN did very well today. Well played with them all. Right, John, I'll ask you this one. Pete Coulson asks, does the esteemed panel now believe in cosmic karma? Surely our soft penalty was compensation for PSG stroke Rooney. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I'm not that disappointed that Man United went through, to be honest, because I think it's fucking hilarious that PSG bottled it yet again. I mean, one, they're French. Two, you got to see the tropical Stuart Downing that is Neymar getting upset on the sideline, which I love. And I like Neymar, but Tropical Stuart Downing is the best name I've ever heard for a footballer in my life. That's fucking great. And three, obviously, we get to wind Chris up. Which is probably the best thing about it because he was screaming that wasn't a penalty, but a few weeks earlier he was saying the exact thing was a penalty when he was arguing with the radio show. So, but the Rooney thing, yeah. Look, we're never going to get back for that, but it's a start. If it means United end up spiralling down the table, then fantastic.
Yeah, happy days. One last question to you, Dom. AFC Quixote asks, are you worried about Watford, Burnley away, etc.? Some of these upcoming games you have.
Absolutely. Like John said, some of these teams are a lot better than what people give them credit for, or just because they're sort of mid to lower table. And it's also at this time of the season as well, you don't really want to be playing the teams in the relegation battles. I think we've seen it in previous seasons where as it starts to wind up towards the end of the season, you kind of want those, teams anywhere between sort of 8th to 14th, maybe somewhere around there they've got one eye on the beach already. The players are kind of just going through the motions a little bit. You don't want to play those teams down the very bottom because they are fighting for their lives. And so every game's a big game in the Premier League. We saw Southampton roll over Tottenham, which was just amazing, but you can't take anyone lightly. Any team can beat anyone on any given day. We've seen the bottom place team beat the first place team plenty of times.
Well, we've lost to Brighton, West Ham, Southampton. You know what I mean? So we've got to take it seriously, haven't we? Star the Man 450 asks, and this is to all of us now, and this is the final question. Okay. In light of fans running on the pitch today, could we be made an example of and points docked? Now, obviously, we saw at Birmingham Villa the utterly gutless, shameful sight of Jack Grealish being attacked from behind by a wank stain of massive proportions, just the type of bottom-feeding twat which no sport needs. Okay? But there was an incident with somebody coming on the pitch today, and I think they pushed Chris Smalling, was it? John?
I'm not sure. I mean, it was a push. It wasn't like he didn't hit him or anything. But I don't know if it was Smalling or someone else. But yeah, it was.
You can't have people coming on the pitch.
It was stupid, and it's
especially after you've seen this incident with Grealish highlighted today.
Yeah.
If we were to get a points deduction, I mean, what would your opinions be on that?
I don't think they would. I would assume that it would be a suspended points deduction if they wanted to go that far. It's probably more likely we get a fine. Because of what's happened at the Birmingham game, it might be that they go above the fine and say, okay, we'll give you a points deduction, but it's suspended. And if anything like this happens again within X number of months or like a year or season or whatever, then we will enforce that points deduction. It's disappointing. I think.
So what happens if a Man United supporter dresses up as an Arsenal fan and runs on the pitch and gets points docked from us?
You've given them a very good idea. The thing, right? Okay. Now, if someone went and did that, all right, genius for your team. Wow, that's a big, fucking big sacrifice you're making, because obviously people who identify you afterwards realise you're not an Arsenal fan and they'll ban you from Old Trafford and from the Emirates and everywhere else. It's a problem that the club need to look at, and stewards and everything else. Look, I think the majority of people here in the chat box and the people who listen to this will know that a fan shouldn't be on the pitch. You shouldn't be cheering it. At least our fan wasn't as much as an idiot as the Birmingham one, I guess, is one thing.
I would say he's a bigger idiot simply because that the Grealish incident is all over the news. Everybody knew what was happening. Okay? Everybody knew that it happened earlier on today. You had the Hibernian fan at with Rangers last night.
Yeah.
This fucking nonsense. If we get his points deduction, I got to be honest with you, I think, well, that's tough. That's tough shit to us.
If it happens, it's within their power and it's in the rules. They're allowed to do it. That's the issue, and I would hope that they wouldn't, and I hope that the most severe thing they would do would be a suspended points deduction. That would be it. But look, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, it's just a fine and that's it, and the stewards can get on. And
the person that does it needs some kind of criminal charge or something. Right. You can't just have. You can't have an environment like that, like a professional environment like that, and people might kind of say, oh, yeah, well, why don't they get more stewards and why don't they up security? But it should just be enough that the deterrent to do it in the first place is just not worth it. Where you don't it's almost like what would be the downside of having some kind of crazy penalty for some idiot that decides to jump on there, in terms of proper prosecution, criminal record, et cetera, et cetera. It might sound like I'm going over the top, but there's only so much that a club can do to prevent that. It needs to be up to the rules in place to stop the person thinking that it's worth the risk in the first place.
The guy at Birmingham I assume will be charged with some form of assault or affray or something like that.
It needs to be just worse, though, doesn't it? It needs to be like something bad that you just go, yeah, there's no way anyone can convince me to do that.
The guy who jumps on the pitch at the Emirates,
he's got a lifetime ban from the club.
He'll get a lifetime ban from the club, and I'm sure his face will be shared around with all the other football clubs, and they have the face recognition technology and all that sort of thing. But there won't be a criminal charge because I'm not sure there is one. If it should be, the most he'll get would be a fine of some sort. But that then goes into for the criminal justice system to deal with, and not football. The thing is, look, none of the people in the chat box here are going to go to an Arsenal game and jump on the pitch. That's the main thing. We know they're not that stupid. Hopefully, this won't happen again, and the FA will be, strong enough in at least their threat of, if this happens, then your club will suffer a severe punishment.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Whoever it is, he's had a moment of madness. What on earth does he think he's doing? He'll get a lifetime ban, and deservedly so. And whatever the FA do, there will be some sort of repercussion, because you just can't fucking have people putting their hands on opposition players. You can't do it. It's not right. Regardless of whether it's twats or not, you just can't do it. Big shout out to Jamie Fitzgerald, or Jamie Fitzgrade as he is in the chat box, for his donation. Arsenal for third spot, he says. Delighted, boys. And so are we. It's great to have you on board again, Jamie. Thank you ever so much, mate. You're an absolute rock star. So that's the game. Dave Faber's in the box. Everybody wish Dave Faber good health, please. Okay, it's fantastic to see him up and about. He's had a hard time health-wise recently. So give Dave some love, please. It's he's a top man, and we miss him being on at the moment, because he's a lot brighter than us three Muppets.
I have met him too. He is real. He's not just a myth.
I've met Dave a few times now. It's great. That's why I hook up with him. He's an absolute frigging rock star. John, it's competition time.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
Finally done it. Now, it would have been really nice if we could do this whole exciting thing. We had like I don't know, whatever the Tumblr thing is and pull a thing out. But Danny's just done it and sent it to me because apparently this was done last week because we're so organised. So I'm just going to read them out. So we had loads of retweets, loads of likes. Thank you for everyone who entered. Loads of people went on Facebook as well. So here we go. I don't know a single one of these winners. So there we go, Danny. Danny is done brilliant. We've got in 5th place, because I'll read it in reverse order, obviously, an Emirates road sign. Apparently it's not nicked. It's a replica. It's not the real thing. To @Olivinho on Twitter. Congratulations, Olivinho. In 4th place, we've got 3 books we're giving away. Apparently, Akib, our good friend Akib. And the winner of that was @HomemadeDad on Twitter. So congratulations to you. In unfortunate 3rd place, you got the unfortunate trophy @Imran173. You won Danny's socks. I am reliably informed they have not been worn at any time whatsoever, so they are still brand new technically. You don't have to accept them if you don't want them. It's fine.
Jesus, can you imagine? To be fair, his feet don't get an awful lot of use, do they?
Yeah, that's true. They've got low mileage. In 2nd place, winning the signed book, I think is it the Tony Adams book? I think it's
Tony Adams book, yeah. Tony Adams book.
@Stevenage Gooner. So congratulations to you. And in 1st place, it's not someone from Twitter. Oh, I have no idea who this person is. Because I'm useless with our Facebook, because I always forget to go on there because I'm very naughty. So Danny will tell me off. It's Chris Hoppy Hopkins. You have won the signed Santi Cazorla shirt. So what we'll do is Danny will hopefully contact you all. I'm assuming that's what he's going to do. I'm going to wait for him to reply in the box whilst I mumble a little bit more about this. So we'll contact you all and tell you what you've won, and we'll arrange, get address and everything else, and get all the stuff sent out to you. So thank you to everyone who entered. Apologies to anyone, those of you who didn't win. But yeah, we've finally done it. It's only taken us about 2 months to get this organised. But yeah, that's it. Also, last thing to say very quickly, Danny asked me to mention, Jason already said, Danny and Shredder did a little preview pod, little 15-minute thing. It's only on YouTube. That's where it's going to stay. So we've got our regular pod Tuesday, and then Wednesday we're going to do this. We're going to see if people like it. We're going to do a regular thing now before games. Fingers crossed if we can get people around for it. Just 10, 15 minutes, just 2, maybe 3 people at most, just chatting about the game coming up, little preview thing for you guys to watch on YouTube. It won't be live, it will be pre-recorded thing. But obviously, if you want to leave comments, like the video or anything else like that, that'd be great. Let us know what you think of it, if you enjoy it. If you don't like it, equally let us know, and we'll stop doing it and we'll look at something else. But it's just another way to get a little bit more content out for you guys. So, yeah, just let us know what you think.
Yeah, I thought the boys did great, to be fair. It was really well done by Danny and Shreds, and congratulations to them. It was nice to see a lot of positive feedback at the moment. Please let us know your thoughts. Congratulations to Hoppy Hopkins. He's been a long-time supporter of the podcast. Absolutely chuffed to bits that, to all the winners. I hope you enjoy the prizes. That's absolutely magic. That time of day again, we're coming to an end. A massive thanks to Michael Hahnemann, Yvonne Akofar, Marcus Hodges, Dean Robinson, Mike Hernandez, Petito 100, Jamie Howson, Nathan Gooner, and Jamie Fitzgerald. Thank you for the donations, guys. You're absolutely magic. To everyone who's been in the chat box today, thank you ever so much. It's been really enjoyable in that chat box. Even the United fans have come in. They weren't arseholes. They chatted with people, and everybody interacted well with them. Bit of banter, really good. Fantastic to see. Daniel Schuldenfrey. You get a shout out, Daniel. Daniel Schuldenfrey. What about me, he says. Well, hello, Daniel Schuldenfrey. Neil Vergala's there as well. To those of you listening on other platforms, thank you ever so much for your support. As always, you're absolutely brilliant, and we think the world of you all. Dan Fry's in there. Dan Fry's always around at the moment. Sir Antonius Block, you get a shout out as well, because we think the world of you. Yeah, it's been a really good day. Credit to Unai, credit to the boys. Big shout outs to Leno, Rambo, and Xhaka. Thought you were fantastic. We're happy bunnies today. It's so nice to see. And a massive thank you to Aussie Dom. Say goodbye, Aussie Dom.
Goodbye, Aussie Dom.
Winner!
Has to be done.
It does. It does. Johnny boy, say goodbye, Johnny.
Goodbye, Johnny.
Got to be honest with you guys. It's one of the things that I love doing this podcast is being able to talk to these idiots and with you guys. Thank you ever so much. On a last note, Armandford AFC, Armandford Town held their first game back after the death of Jack Lewis on Friday night. And they had they raised about 500 quid for charity. Unfortunately, Jack took his own life. So again, we're going to say it. We're going to say it at the end of a lot of shows this year. If you're feeling ill, if you're feeling unwell, if you're struggling with anything, please talk to somebody. Be brave. Don't let mental health issues or disease get the better of you. Blokes are sort of these people we just keep on going on or whatever. And we're meant to. But if you're feeling down, please go and speak to somebody. Whether it be a friend, whether it be a professional, do something about it. There are loads of helplines that you can go to, okay? But speak to somebody, people. Be brave. Whatever you're facing, face it head on. Don't be another stat, okay? Be one of the ones that comes out the other side smiling. Please do that. Thank you. You've all been superb tonight. God save the Arsenal. God save Unai Emery, and God save everyone in the team. You're brilliant today. John, switch this shit off.